What are your thoughts at this stage? It's not confirmed. We'll bring that to you live as it happens in the next couple of hours, but there's reporting this morning suggesting it may well be extended until next week, possibly even the 12th or the 14th of June.
Yeah, good morning, Pete. Look, like any other Victorian, heart in the mouth, really despairing at another extension to this lockdown. I'll be heading back to the family, obviously, at the end of Canberra sitting period, the Parliament, on Thursday night. And if it is extended, we'll be doing the same thing we did last lockdown, which is long walks, having a kick of the footy at the park, and playing board games with the kids. But, there is really a sense of both. It's a bit weird from the people I talk to in Victoria, a sense of resilience and steel about it because we've gone through this before, but also that kind of drop of the heart a bit and feeling a bit down about it because it is a difficult thing to go through this lockdown and people are really feeling it. There's a lot of impact on mental health right through the community.
Speaking of steel, shouldn't there be, why not have a ring of steel around Melbourne and leave the regional areas to function as they usually do?
Yeah, look, I can't second guess the authorities there. They're looking at all of the statistics and the spread. I think that the concern, obviously, and that's been made very public, is that this variant, the Indian variant, is so infectious and it just is transmitted through even casual contact, and the airborne spread is much more infectious than other variants. There's a real fear about how quickly it's spreading and how quickly it can get out of hand. Now, I know there's been a lot of criticism of contact tracers and the system in Victoria, but they have done a Herculean effort over the last couple of weeks. I mean, they've tracked down over 4,000 primary contacts, and they're keeping just on top of it, sort of head to head with the virus and its movement, because it is moving very, very quickly. They may go to some sort of limited restrictions, Pete, going forward. I just don't know what the announcement's going to be. I'm waiting like every other Victorian.
Yeah, but I mean, should regional Victoria have a bit more freedom, especially in those places that don't even have a single case?
Yeah, look, that could be a consideration. Absolutely. Some people, punters, say to me, why I'm in Mildura walking my dog, why do I have to wear a mask if I'm on my own? I think that's a fair point. If you can have that kind of, different types of restrictions depending on the geographic place and the conditions in that place, that might be something the state government considers when they make their announcements.
Do you believe the state government has chipped in enough to help those businesses?
Well, the state government did announce a $250 million package for business with
is that
help
enough?
for 90,000. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The state government's doing what it should. My criticism is of the federal government and Josh Frydenberg and Scott Morrison. I mean, what happened to we're all in this together? And it's a bit disingenuous for Frydenberg to say, oh, well, no, we can't restart JobKeeper. We're not talking about that. We've always said there should be, throughout this pandemic, tailored and targeted support for where it's needed. When things happen quickly, it's about being part of a Team Australia, which they have basically relinquished right now. They're saying, no, we're not going to help at all. I mean, it is mean-spirited. It is not showing national leadership. We're not talking about just restarting JobKeeper. It could be a one-off package to support businesses to complement the state government package. It could be a one-off payment to help workers who are in trouble. That's the kind of leadership that we need from the government. And don't tell me it's about the money. Like, come on. They've spent, what did Josh Frydenberg spend? $100 billion at the last budget, got us to $1 trillion worth of debt by 2024, and now suddenly his own home state is crying out for help and he can't lend a hand?
Well,
It's outrageous.
he argues that the Victorian government and Victoria has received more money from the federal government in history.
Every state, well, that's a great argument. We were in a global pandemic. Every state, New South Wales got 43 billion, Victoria got 45 billion. But how is that an argument to counter the fact that there is a need right now? There is a need for targeted and tailored support right now to help your fellow Victorians, your fellow Australians. But they're not stepping up to the plate. Like everything else this government does, it's about pushing away responsibility to others.
But why should the Australian taxpayer continue to chip in money to Victoria when it always seems to happen in Victoria?
Oh, that's an interesting point. The Australian taxpayer. Are you saying Victorians aren't Australians? They pay their taxes, Pete. I pay my taxes. Every other Victorian pays their taxes. In fact, Victorians probably contribute more to the bottom line as far as taxpayers than other states. If you're going to go down that line, we can have a whole argument about who pays more in taxes. But that's not what we're talking about, Pete. We're talking about the Australian federal government doing its job as a national government and supporting citizens in need for a short period of time. Okay, and if they're going to be mean-spirited about saying, well, we can't spend this money because they're all going in lockdown. Yeah, Victoria went into lockdown here for 7 days because a case got the coronavirus in hotel quarantine. The very same hotel quarantine which this national government keeps defending. We've said time and time again, get your act together and put some federal quarantine facilities in place that are fit to purpose. I mean, again, this guy caught it from the room next door on his last day. We've said this time and time again. Everyone says, oh, but it's 99% effective, hotel quarantine. Yeah, but the 1% where it's not effective actually causes a lot of trouble when it gets out. This government has dropped the ball on their responsibility. The federal government has not invested in federal quarantine facilities. They should have done it 12 months ago. All
right, Peter Khalil, we've got to hold it there. Labor MP from Victoria, Peter Khalil, appreciate your time. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Pete.